Failure is not the end of the road. It is only a bend in the journey. Too many people see a fall as final, but the truth is that failure is not final. It is feedback. Every time you stumble, every time you face rejection, every time life knocks you down, it is delivering a message. That message is not that you are weak or unworthy, but that you are learning, growing, and being shaped for something greater. The world does not celebrate those who never fall. It celebrates those who learn from their falls. Keep moving forward. Think about a child learning to walk. They do not take their first steps and run perfectly across the room. They fall again and again, but each fall teaches them something. Their muscles get stronger, their balance improves, and eventually they walk with confidence. At no point does the child see falling as failure. Falling is simply part of the process. Somewhere along the way, as adults, we forget this truth and we start labeling our falls as final defeats. But in reality, they are simply feedback telling us how to adjust, how to grow, and how to move closer to where we want to be. When you fail at something, it is easy to attach your identity to the outcome. People say, I am a failure, instead of, I experience failure. Those are two completely different statements. One chains you to your mistakes, the other frees you to learn from them. Failure is not a reflection of who you are, but of what you attempted. And the fact that you attempted something means you were brave enough to step into the unknown while others stood still. That alone is a victory. The feedback that failure gives is priceless. It reveals blind spots you could not see. It shows you weaknesses that need strengthening. And it uncovers strategies that do not work. Without falling, you would never have access to this information. Imagine an athlete who never pushed hard enough to fail during training. They would walk into competition unprepared, unaware of their limits, and more likely to be defeated. Failure in practice is what prepares them for victory on the big stage. In the same way, the struggles and stumbles in your journey are preparing you for the opportunities ahead. Many of the most successful people in history built their greatness on the foundation of failure. They did not get everything right the first time, the second time, or even the 10th time. They kept falling, but they kept rising. Each time they treated failure as a teacher, not a sentence. Thomas Edison once said he did not fail 1,000 times. He discovered 1,000 ways that did not work. That is what it means to see failure as feedback. Every time life knocks you down, you have a choice. You can stay down and let the failure define you, or you can rise again and let it refine you. Those who choose the second path are the ones who discover their true strength. They are the ones who realize that failure is not the end, but the beginning of wisdom. They know that every fall carries with it the seeds of a comeback, and that standing up with new insight makes them stronger than they were before. Resilience is not something you are born with, it is something you build. The ability to bounce back after setbacks is like a muscle. It grows stronger the more you use it, the more you test it, and the more you challenge it. Life will always find ways to knock you down, but the difference between those who stay down and those who rise again is the resilience they have developed through their struggles. Every storm you survive, every mountain you climb, every challenge you face is not breaking you, it is building you. When you face difficulties, you might feel weak, you might feel overwhelmed, but in truth, those very moments are shaping you into someone tougher than you were before. A seed cannot grow without pressure. It needs to push through the soil to reach the light. In the same way, you cannot grow stronger without resistance. Resilience is born in the pressure of life's challenges. It is developed in the moments when quitting feels easier, but you choose to continue. Each time you do that, you stretch your capacity and you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Many people believe strength is about avoiding pain or protecting yourself from challenges. But true strength comes from walking into those challenges, enduring them, and finding your way through. A boxer cannot get better without sparring in the ring. A bodybuilder cannot grow muscles without lifting heavy weights. And a person cannot develop resilience without facing setbacks, disappointments, and failures. Every hard experience is life's way of training you for the battles ahead. The bounce back muscle grows only when it is tested. Sometimes when life knocks you down, it can feel unfair, and you may question why it happened to you. But resilience is not about avoiding what you cannot control. It is about mastering your response to it. You may not choose the pain, but you can choose what to do with it. You can let it crush you, or you can let it shape you into a stronger, wiser, more determined version of yourself. Resilience is built in that decision. It is not about the fall. It is about how you rise after the fall. The truth is, life never truly gets easier. The challenges may change, but they will always be there. What changes is you. With every comeback, with every rise after a fall, you build a deeper inner strength that allows you to face bigger challenges with greater confidence. What once would have broken you becomes something you can now handle with grace. That is the reward of resilience. It transforms fear into courage, doubt into determination, and setbacks into setups for greater comebacks. When you look back at your life, you will realize that the moments that grew you the most were not the easy ones, but the ones that tested you. Those are the moments when your bounce back muscle was built. Those are the moments that prepared you for opportunities you could not have handled before. Resilience is proof that no matter how many times life pushes you down, you have the power to stand up, stronger each time. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, yet most people try to avoid it, hide from it, or deny it. When something hurts, the first instinct is to ask, "Why me?" as if pain were a punishment. But pain is not a prison, it is a classroom. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every disappointment carries with it a lesson that can transform who you are and how you live. The problem is not the presence of pain, but the perspective you bring to it. If you see it only as suffering, it will break you. If you see it as a teacher, it will shape you. Life does not waste experiences. The very moments you thought would destroy you often become the foundation for your greatest growth. Think about how a diamond is formed. It does not appear in its brilliance overnight. It is created under extreme pressure, cut and refined until it shines. In the same way, your pain is cutting, refining, and preparing you to shine in ways you could never have imagined. Without that process, without that struggle, the beauty and strength within you would remain hidden. Too often, people allow pain to lock them inside bitterness, anger, or self-pity. They replay the hurt in their minds until it becomes a prison they cannot escape. But pain was never meant to imprison you. It was meant to instruct you. The heartbreak teaches you compassion. The failure teaches you humility. The loss teaches you gratitude. And the struggle teaches you perseverance. Every painful chapter carries wisdom that cannot be learned in comfort. Growth rarely comes from ease. It comes from the times you are stretched, tested, and forced to endure, asking, "Why me?" keeps you stuck in the pain, but asking, what is this teaching me, unlocks its power. That shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of being crushed, you are coached. Instead of being trapped, you are trained. Instead of being broken, you are built. The lesson may not reveal itself immediately, but over time you will see how that painful experience gave you tools, insight, or strength that you could not have gained any other way. Pain also connects you to others. When you share the lessons from your struggles, you become a source of hope. People do not connect to perfection. They connect to perseverance. They want to know that someone who fell, someone who bled, someone who suffered found a way to rise again. When you transform your pain into wisdom, you transform it into a gift not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. There is no avoiding pain in life. The question is not whether you will experience it, but what you will do with it. If you treat pain as a teacher, you will walk away stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. You will discover that what felt like a burden was actually a blessing in disguise, a lesson wrapped in discomfort, a force that pushed you to grow into the person you were always meant to become. Rock bottom is a place most people fear, but in truth, it is where courage is often born. When you hit the bottom, when you have lost what you thought you needed, when you feel stripped of every safety net, you also discover a strange kind of freedom. You no longer fear falling because you have already fallen. You no longer worry about losing because you have already lost. At rock bottom, the illusion of control is gone, and all that remains is the raw decision to either stay down or rise again. That decision is where courage begins. It is easy to appear strong when everything is going well, when the bills are paid, when health is steady, and relationships are smooth. But real courage does not show itself in comfort, it reveals itself in chaos. When life shatters your plans, when you find yourself on your knees wondering how you will move forward, that is when courage whispers, stand up. Rock bottom strips away the distractions and the excuses. It forces you to face who you really are and what you are truly made of. Many people discover their greatest strength in their weakest moments. The person who loses a job and thinks they cannot survive ends up starting a business that changes their life. The one who experiences heartbreak and believes they will never love again finds a deeper, more genuine connection later. Rock bottom does not destroy you, it introduces you to the parts of yourself you never knew existed. It brings out resilience, creativity, and determination that would have stayed hidden if life had remained easy. At the bottom, you gain a new perspective. You stop taking the small things for granted. You learn to value progress over perfection. You realize that every step forward, no matter how small, is an act of victory. Courage is not about never being afraid. It is about being terrified and still deciding to move. When you have nothing left to lose, you gain the freedom to risk, to try, and to push yourself in ways you never dared before. Rock bottom is also the foundation for a new beginning. You cannot build a skyscraper on shaky ground. You must dig deep, clear the rubble, and create a strong base. In the same way, when life brings you down, it is giving you a chance to rebuild stronger and wiser than before. The fall is not the end, but the preparation for something greater. Every comeback story begins at a low point, and every hero is born out of struggle. When you hit rock bottom, the world may doubt you, people may walk away, and circumstances may look impossible. But inside you is the courage to rise. That courage was always there, but it needed the fire of struggle to awaken it. Rock bottom is not your enemy. It is the birthplace of your new strength, your new vision, and your new beginning. It is the ground where courage takes root and grows into the force that lifts you higher than you have ever been before. When you choose to stand up after being knocked down, you are not only changing your own life, you are influencing the lives of those who are watching you. People are always observing, even when you don't realize it. They watch how you respond to hardship, how you carry yourself through setbacks, and how you handle the weight of failure. Every time you rise again, you send a silent but powerful message to others. If I can get back up, so can you. Your courage becomes a mirror that reflects possibility for those who are struggling in silence. The truth is, people don't connect with perfect stories. They don't draw inspiration from flawless lives that seem untouched by pain. What truly resonates is authenticity, the story of someone who has been bruised, broken, and beaten down, yet refused to stay there. When you share your scars and show how you overcame the struggle, you give others the gift of hope. They see themselves in your journey, and they believe that if you could rise, then maybe they can too. Your comeback has the power to spark another person's breakthrough. Think of the moments in your own life when you were encouraged. Chances are it wasn't by hearing about someone who never failed, but by hearing about someone who failed many times and still made it through. Those stories stick with us because they prove that resilience is possible. When you rise, you create a blueprint for others to follow. You become evidence that pain is not permanent and defeat is not destiny. Your example can be the very thing that pulls someone else out of despair. Standing up also teaches others about perseverance. In a world that often glorifies instant success and overnight achievement, showing people that it is okay to fall, that it is okay to struggle, and that true strength is in persistence, is one of the greatest lessons you can give. You remind them that setbacks are not signs to quit, but signals to grow. Every time you rise, you make resilience real and tangible for those around you. Sometimes the people you inspire will be strangers who only see a glimpse of your journey. Other times, they will be your closest family and friends who witness your determination up close. A child watching a parent get back on their feet after hardship carries that image for life. A friend who sees you overcome loss may find courage to face their own battles. Even people you may never meet can be moved by your story when it is shared. Your rise is not just for you, it ripples outward into the lives of many. When you stand again, you are planting seeds of belief in others. You are showing them that there is strength beyond the struggle, light beyond the darkness, and victory beyond the pain. That is the quiet power of resilience. It multiplies. One person's decision to get back up can inspire an entire community, and one story of triumph can breathe life into countless others who were ready to give up. Your comeback is never just about you. It is a gift to the world. Success is rarely about one big moment. It is almost always about the willingness to try one more time. The power of persistence is underestimated because people often give up just before they reach the breakthrough they've been working toward. Each attempt, each effort, each push forward chips away at the resistance standing between you and your goal. The truth is, most victories are hidden behind the doors of repeated failure, and only those willing to knock one more time ever discover them. Every time you rise after a fall, you weaken the grip of failure. Failure is not permanent. It is only as strong as the belief you give it. When you stand up and try, again, you send a message to yourself and to life itself that you will not be defined by defeat. That act alone reshapes your mindset because it reminds you that quitting is a choice, but so is persistence. Choosing to continue, even when the odds seem stacked against you, builds a resilience that cannot be taught in any other way. Think of inventors, athletes, artists, and leaders who are remembered not for how many times they failed, but for the one time they succeeded. Their stories carry a common thread. They kept going when others would have stopped. Edison kept experimenting after countless failed attempts at the light bulb. Athletes keep training after losses that could have destroyed their confidence. Entrepreneurs keep building after failed ventures. The power of one more time is the bridge between obscurity and greatness. The temptation to quit is always strongest when you are closest to the finish line. Life has a way of testing your willpower at the edge of your breakthrough. This is where most people surrender, believing they cannot go further. But if they would just endure one more time, push one more time, try one more time, they would discover that success was within reach. That is why persistence is often called the secret ingredient to achievement. It carries you when talent, resources, or opportunity seem to run out. Persistence also transforms the way you see yourself. Each time you try again, you strengthen your belief that you are capable of enduring. You prove to yourself that you are not fragile, that setbacks cannot hold you down forever. Confidence does not come from never falling. It comes from rising repeatedly. With each new attempt, you cultivate faith in your own ability to face adversity. That faith becomes the fuel that carries you through future challenges. One more time can change everything. It can be the difference between a dream realized and a dream buried. It can turn failure into a lesson, struggle into strength, and effort into excellence. The key is to never underestimate the power of persistence. Even when you feel exhausted, even when doubt creeps in, even when quitting feels easier, remember that every great success story is written by someone who chose to get back up and give it one more try.